What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are all having an incredible day. I know I am. As you can tell, today I'm going to be telling you guys a story about a teacher that absolutely hated my guts. Like, without a doubt, he hated my guts. Before we get into though, if you could press the like button, I would appreciate it. No joke, no scam. If you press like on this video right now, you will get nothing but straight A's for the rest of your academic career. Don't question it, it's dark magic. I actually went to the swamps of New Orleans to find myself a witch doctor, and I walked up to her as she was sitting on her porch and I said, "Ma'am, can you do anything for my subscribers to make them get straight A's?" And she said, "Ryan, you know what? I can. I just need you to press the like button. And if they press the like button, the voodoo magic will work its course and they'll get straight A's." So that's right. I went to New Orleans to do this for you guys. Don't make me waste my time. Press the like button. And without further ado, let's get into the story. So this takes place in my freshman year of high school. I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit of a terrible person in my freshman year of high school. I just thought I was really cool and edgy, and I definitely was not the type of person that you wanted to hang out with. But the one thing I was good at was I was good at school. I would always keep my mouth shut. I never wanted to have any beef with teachers because I just learned the hard way that when you have beef with teachers, it's really hard to get away with anything. It's really hard to get good grades. Like, it's just way easier to keep your parents off your back, keep everybody off your back, and have teachers on your side. So because of that, I was a bit of what they call a kiss ass, all right? I definitely went out of my way to make sure teachers liked me because, like I said, my life was easier when everyone liked me. But when I was a freshman, I had this science teacher, and his name was Mr. I actually think he got fired after me, so Mr. Spangler, if you're watching this, I'm just gonna say your name. His name was Mr. Spangler, and he was a science teacher. I was taking physics at the time, which I probably shouldn't have been taking as a freshman because I didn't know what was going on. You know, I was pretty good at math until the alphabet started getting involved. X7QX times gravity, whatever. Like, there was not even numbers at this point. Forget all that. But regardless of how hard physics is, Mr. Spangler and I just did not get along, and it was for a simple reason. He was actually the dumbest teacher I've ever met in my entire life. Like, you would think a teacher would have some type of logic and understanding of, like, how to be a smart person. But no. Mr. Spangler was so stupid, I'm not even kidding you. He would spend 20-30 minutes at the start of class trying to figure out how to turn on the projector. Like, that's how dumb this guy was. No joke, one time I come into class and he is sitting there smacking his computer as if it's like his child or something. Maybe him as a child, that would explain a lot. Maybe a little bit of the brain damage. Just smacking the side of this computer saying, "Work, work, work." And so I'm asking him what's going on, and he says, "My phone connection's really slow and I know it goes through the computer." And I look at him and I'm like, "Dude, the phone has nothing to do with your computer. You have an iPhone. This is a piece of crap school district Dell. What do you think's going on here?" But of course, I was wrong. I didn't know anything of it. He was a science teacher, all right? Because I'm sure knowing high school physics makes you an expert on technology. But regardless, I watched this man beat his computer senseless, all right? If it was a boxing match, the computer would have been KO'd in the first round. And he's just beating on it and looking at his phone and waiting for the text to go through. Because he didn't realize that that's not how texts work. That's not how phones work. You can't beat your computer to make your phone work. It's like breaking your TV because your Xbox is being slow. But that's the type of stupid that this guy was. Really stupid. But regardless, he really thought he was a great teacher. He thought he was changing our lives, all right? And I was not learning physics. I was having a hard time. And of course, it's really hard to respect someone that doesn't understand that a computer and phone don't do the same thing. So regardless, him and I would kind of get into it every now and then. The first time we really got into a verbal altercation, like a straight up argument, was when he claimed that the sun actually is not a ball of burning gas, but instead, and I quote, "it's kind of like a toaster oven in space. You know how when a toaster oven gets hot, it turns red?" And I mean, I watched Science Channel, all right? And I knew that wasn't how it worked, so I tried to correct him. And he proceeded to try to make me look stupid in front of the class and looked it up, and sure enough, the sun is still a burning ball of gas, guys. Wow, oh my gosh, physics. But anyways, after that, he had it out for me. And when I mean he had it out for me, I mean he really had it out for me. I would answer questions and he would tell me they were wrong. He was giving me the wrong formulas for math tests. He was going out of his way to make sure I was not doing well at all. Like, that was his one goal. He would basically go out of his way to make sure that I was not learning the information, like, good enough to pass his class. And any excuse to get me in trouble, he would. Like, if I was talking too much, or in his opinion talking too much, if I was asking dumb questions, if I was being a distraction to the class, which is basically anything I would do. Like, if I would breathe funny, he'd be like, "Wow, you're trying to distract the class. You're not a comedian. Go to the dean's office." And it got so bad that I would go to the dean's office and they'd ask me what I do, and I'd be like, "Honestly, I don't know." That they would call him and ask him to explain it, and they could tell that something was off because he would always be like, "Yeah, he was screaming something about blah 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 in the class." And like, usually when kids come up here and they know they've done something wrong, they're pretty honest about about it. And it was basically, every other day, I was going to the dean's office 2-3 times a week from this guy's class. Then it got to the point where they would be like, all right, well, I guess just sit here for the next 20 minutes and there's not much we can do. We can't send you back, but we know you're not doing anything, so just sit in here and finish your physics homework, I guess. Like, even the dean's office knew that this guy was full of crap and basically just trying to get me in trouble because he didn't like the fact that I proved him wrong about the sun. Maybe the problem is he never had a son. He never had someone to raise to be a physics-loving man like himself. But the real culmination, other than his disgusting bald head, was the following. So he already didn't like me, and I didn't like him. That was pretty obvious by now. And he had a really gross bald head. And it was no secret that we didn't like each other. I was getting sent to the dean's office every day. I'm failing his class, whatever. So I did something a little bit immature, and when I mean a little bit immature, I mean a lot immature. He was balding, but just couldn't let it go. So he had these 3 hairs on the top of his head that were really dark, like 3 groups of hairs, I should say, on the top of his shiny bald head. So I decided to make a Twitter page called Spangler's 3 Bald Hairs, and I got a bunch of really zoomed in pictures of his bald, decrepit head, this chrome dome, greasy noggin that he had with his 3 little hairs. And I just started tweeting as if I was his hairs, you know, like somehow I'm a decrepit hair and I'm still smarter than the guy I'm attached to, just that type of stuff. And some snitch told him that this was a Twitter page, so of course he's going crazy trying to figure out who's owning it, who's running it, who's trying to find the Twitter page. He starts trying to search kids' phones in class, which is just against the rules. And somehow, I don't know who snitched on me, he found out that it was me. But I kind of knew that it was coming just for how hard he was searching, so I had deleted Twitter off my phone. So one day I get called into the dean's office. They're basically like, do you run this Twitter account called Spangler's 3 Bald Hairs? And I was like, no, I have nothing to do with it. And then I'm like, they're like, oh, are you sure? And I said, yeah, you can even check my phone. So I pull up Twitter and I'm like, see, I'm not logged into the account. The only account I was logged into was my own. And so I'm smirking. He knows I got away with it because what are they going to do? They can't prove I was on the Twitter account. Like, they can't prove that I run it. It's not on my phone. But he knows that I did it because the smirk I had on my face when he realized that I had gotten away with it. Because when I walked in, he had this cocky look on his face like he had me, like he had finally gotten me in real trouble. And when they didn't find it on my phone, he knew that I was doing it because I was smiling like an idiot. I mean, how could I not? I outsmarted a physics teacher, okay? But this is where the trouble really started. So after this, the gloves were off. He knew that there was basically nothing he could do in the dean's office to get me in real trouble. He knew he couldn't pin the Twitter account on me, but his ego was bruised. So what he started doing is just failing me. And he was somehow pretty smart about this. He wouldn't just give me straight up 0%. He was giving me D's and F's and C's, just enough to lower my GPA to the point where I was not going to get any credit for the class. And I was going to have to take summer school. And I know he was doing this because it wasn't just me failing, because up until this point, like, yeah, I was struggling with him as a teacher, but I had an A or B the entire year. And then it was literally after this incident, the week later, I just start failing every single test. So I decided that I'm going to try to catch him, right? Like, I'm going to try to make sure that, you know, he has nothing but ill intent. Because, you know, maybe I am just failing the class. I don't know. I don't want to assume bad things about the guy. So I figured the least I could do is come up with a plan. So I decided to take my friend's quiz. And I know he got an A because he had cheated. And my quiz, and we just swapped names. So my quiz had his name on it. His quiz had my name on it. He gets my test back and has an 89%. I get his quiz back and I had gotten a 64%, or not me, but him. And he had cheated, so I knew all the answers were right. So I go up to him and I ask him, hey, can you tell me what I got wrong on my 89%? And he goes, oh, that must have been a grading error. My student aide graded it, takes it back. An hour later, comes back to me, like towards the end of class, and says, here's your paper back, and now I have a 67. So at this point, I've basically confirmed I'm not failing the class. He's just trying to fail me. Like, he's purposely trying to fail me. So I ended up doing some research, and I realized that he teaches summer school. So I go up to him a couple classes later, like at the end of class, and I tell him straight up, I say, listen, dude, I know you don't like me. I don't like you. That's obvious. I know you've been trying to fail me. I don't want to have to go to the school about this because you're going to get fired because I basically have proof that you're trying to fail me. And he's like, oh, I'm not trying to fail you, totally denying it. So I say, look, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to get me to go and have to retake the class. And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, there's only one problem. You teach summer school and you're the only physics teacher here, which means you're going to have to deal with me for the next year or 3 months or however long it is that I have to retake this class. And we hate each other. That's not gonna work. And he was so stupid, I don't think he realized this. And he kind of has this wide look in his eyes like, oh my god, if I keep failing him, I'm never gonna get rid of him. He's gonna be here forever. But after that, I got a straight C average for the rest of the year, passed the class, and got my credit, which, you know, I wasn't gonna complain about. Sure, it ruined my GPA a little bit, but I'll tell you what, it's a hell of a lot better than having to retake the class with a teacher you hate over and over and over again. Him and I would see each other in the hallway up until my junior year, and we just would give each other dirty looks. We hated each other. teacher. But from what I've heard, he actually got fired last year for hitting on an underage student. So as you can tell, he was just a big class act. What a nice guy, you know? The type of person you're really, really happy to be around. On that note, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, I'd really appreciate you pressing the like button. It does help the video a lot. Comment down below, all that good stuff. We're growing like crazy. It's really been nuts. I appreciate everything you guys do for the channel and me, and I love each and every one of you an absolute shit ton. Don't get anyone pregnant, and if you do, make sure they're hot, and I'll talk to you next time. I'm out. Peace. Oh, one more thing. CSGO is a good game. If you want, you can add me on Steam. It's on the main channel's channel bio.